I'm Ramin.
And I'm Dan.
And we are
Two blokes and a mic.
That's what we have to do, right? Yeah. So
something like that.
So, have you gotten your second shot yet for COVID?
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
Mine
I
is
did.
coming up in a week. I cannot wait because as soon as that happens, you and I are going to do this in the studio together.
I need 2 weeks after your second shot, but other than that,
I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I'm done.
Right.
No.
Back to reality.
Back to reality. Back to realities. What are we here for? Thank you. I appreciate that. Your support is always appreciated, as always.
Hey, I'm right there with you, dude.
Thanks for calling me a loser there, buddy.
Yeah. So
anyway, on this week's episode, we're going to be talking about Microsoft 365,
right?
Their offerings, and there are a lot of them.
Oh, yes.
And the differences between them. This has been an ever-evolving bit of marketing from Microsoft. The product itself is pretty rock solid in terms of Microsoft Exchange, and Azure Active Directory, that kind of stuff. But they keep moving the marketing markers, as I like to call them. It's like, what are we calling it this week? So, Dan, without further ado, or as somebody once said, make sure that another ado is not furthered.
Okay.
It's English. It doesn't have to make sense.
Right.
Please enlighten us, my friend.
Okay, so there are plans and there are plans and there are plans. There are plans that are $1 a month per person. There are plans that are $57 or something like that.
It's absurd. Yeah.
A month.
And then the question is, what do you get for that?
Right. You get the kitchen sink, apparently. But I kind of wanted to go over all of the basic stuff that most small businesses are going to be interested in. Sure. So the primary reason that people want to move to Office 365 is email. Yeah, that's the number one thing.
That is the number one thing.
You can get a very, very basic account, just email, which actually gives you a very generous 50 gigabyte mailbox.
Right.
For $4 a month. That's the Exchange Online Plan 1.
Correct. That does not come with Outlook. It
does not come with Outlook.
It's a 50 gig Exchange mailbox, but it's all online. You have to use webmail, but it has Exchange on the back end, right?
Yes, so it is Exchange. It's full on Exchange. Right. Now, if you had purchased Microsoft Office yourself, and you have that, you can still use Outlook. Yes, and you just connect that account. You just connect your account. You're off to the races. Yes. It's a fantastic product. 50 gigs is really very generous.
Right.
And you get all the standard stuff that comes with Microsoft, their standard security, and everything else. Now, if you're one of these people that has a lot of email,
which is very common these days.
It is, and people get into the bad habit of sending attachments, large attachments. Yes, so that adds up.
Yep.
We have some clients that, for whatever reason, CC themselves
as yet unknown.
They CC themselves on every single email.
Not realizing that each one of those takes up space
and is in your sent items.
It's in your sent items anyway. Yeah, you can do a search.
So anyway, if you have a very large mailbox, it goes over 50 gigs. You can do other things. You can add another license.
Yes.
If you add, there are certain plans that give you up to 100 gigabytes of space on a mailbox. But one of the most important things that you can do is you can turn it into an unlimited space mailbox with what's called online archive. The Exchange Online Plan 2, which is $8 a month, gives you access to the online archive, which is essentially an unlimited amount of storage space in the cloud for your emails. And what happens is it will automatically archive all your emails in your inbox, and it will push it to the online archive,
right,
which remains in the cloud. Now, when you use Outlook, for example, you normally connect to your mailbox and it downloads all of those emails to your local computer so it can run fast.
Yes.
That doesn't happen with Online Archive. It stays in the cloud and it adds like a link that you can push back to it. Essentially, it streams those emails to your Outlook client.
It takes it out of your Outlook client and out of effectively your mailbox.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's a separate mailbox. It's a
separate item.
So that's just email. But let's move on to some other products. So the very entry product that Microsoft is trying to push to people is the Office 365 Business Basic, which is $5 a month. Now, what that does is that gives you email, but it also gives you 1 terabyte of space with OneDrive.
Right. So if you want cloud storage,
if you want cloud storage, you got a terabyte
of
for
space
$1 extra.
Right. The cool thing about this stuff is that you can log into multiple machines with that same account and still access your 1 terabyte of space and your email.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's the beauty of all of this in the cloud kind of stuff, is that it's available on your multiple machines.
Yeah. It also gives you the web and mobile versions of Office. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint. It has the the browser-based versions of those. So you can
work just fine. Yeah.
It's not quite perfect. You lose some functionality.
You do.
But it's there. It's available. So you can use that if you're comfortable using that. And it gives you Teams. Teams is a really cool application.
And it has become a really important application during the time of our COVID pandemic.
Yes. So Teams, in some ways, is a direct competitor to Zoom.
Correct.
It's also a direct competitor to things like Slack. Now, those Slack and Zoom also have lots of other bells and whistles, and Teams doesn't have those bells and whistles, but it does give you those functionalities. It's an instant messenger, but it's also a team conference application.
Video conference application, yeah.
It has wiki stuff. You can do documents in there, calendaring. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All of that for $1 extra. I think that's a pretty good deal. That also gives you the 50 gig mailbox and blah, blah, blah. Right. Anyway, moving on. Office 365 Business Standard. I think they call it Microsoft Business Standard these days. Anyway, what that does, that's $12.50 a month.
Right.
That gives you everything in basic,
right?
As well as offline versions of Microsoft Office. So you don't need to go through a browser. You can install it and run it locally. You don't have to be online.
You can download. And am I correct? And we can double check this, but am I correct in saying that when you get to that level, you as an individual, if you have 3 or 4 machines, you can use your license on, I think, up to 5 machines.
Yeah.
For your own use.
Yeah, I think so. I think there is a limit also of concurrent use. So it may complain. But I think that's about right. We'd need to verify.
Yeah, because I think I'm using that here, and I've got it on 1, 2, 3 devices, and it just works fine. Of course, I'm never using all 3 machines at once.
Right.
If I was able to do that, I'd go on the road and have a show, right?
Right. So then moving on to the very sort of, before we get to enterprise, and I'm not really going to touch much on that, but the last business option is Business Premium.
Correct.
Which is $20 a month.
Right.
And that gives you some extra bells and whistles. Some of those extra bells and whistles are advanced security.
Right.
That means there's like an extra level of security in email protection. So incoming, it's much more advanced. There's They pay more attention, essentially, to your incoming emails. They're scanning things. They're making sure things aren't.
It's basically edge protection, right? It's trying to protect you before you get that
gets
email
to your computer. Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
Right.
Other
Which
things
is not
that
a
includes,
bad idea.
No. It's actually
the more
really
layers
good,
of this stuff you have, the easier your life is going to be in general, right?
And in fact, as a segue to that, there are separate licenses that you can buy. It's not obvious when you go to their website, but you can buy Microsoft Defender for Office 365, which is essentially, again, the same thing, antivirus and scanning, which is $2 a mailbox a month. You can also get Exchange Online Protection, where it does things like outbound scanning and making sure that you don't have an infection and you're sending out to tons of your clients and stuff like that. And that's $1 a month. So you can, all of these different extra levels of security you can add separately. But if you get the business premium, that includes a chunk of security right there.
Nice. Yeah.
On top of that, you've also got device management, which is Microsoft Intune.
Yeah, that's their version of mobile device management.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So you can control laptops, you can control other devices, and that means you can do remote wipe. You can do.
I was going to say, let's explain what you mean by control, right?
Right.
It's really meant for your IT department to be able to, if someone says, "Hey, I left my laptop on the train," we can remotely wipe it or at least lock it down.
Yes.
Right.
And there are other things you can do with an MDM, but that's kind of one of the major attractions is that you can do things like remote wipe.
Yes.
You can also install applications. You can remove applications. You can lock down controls. You can make sure that the person can do this, they can't do that, and so on.
You can push policies. Network security policies.
Right.
And if you're an organization that is either in the healthcare or financial industry or is in the software development world for the medical or security industry, part of your certification is going to be the SOC 2 certification, which for developers, and in order to become certified, that everybody that does the certification process wants to understand that you have certain things like mobile device management in place and that you actually have network security policies that you push through, which we've talked about in other episodes.
Yep. One of the other cool features of Business Premium is that you have Azure AD, or a relatively basic part of Azure AD, and that can include things like virtual Windows, virtual desktop, a license that goes with the virtualization of Windows, so you can spin up and use that as a license for a remote desktop.
Right. So if you have an environment where you want to have really centralized control over everything, you can create a desktop, sort of golden desktop image, and then assign that to users in that environment, and then have them just have an inexpensive laptop that they pull the image down to.
Right. This is one of the goals of Microsoft is to essentially take everything from the local physical hard drive and keep it in the cloud.
Yep.
That way, it doesn't matter if your laptop gets stolen, doesn't matter if it gets destroyed. You just pick up a new laptop, you remote back into the virtual instance, and everything's
back in business,
back up and running. Yeah,
right. So because all of your stuff is up there.
Yes, right? and they will control that, and you'll pay them for the rest of your life.
Correct.
So that kind of gives you a broad overview of the business, not enterprise, but business.
Right. We'll go through the enterprise side of things in a different episode because there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I mean, like just to give you like a very, very quick and brief comparison, like the E3 license just gives you a bigger mailbox. It gives you more space, and there's a couple of other things that it does. But and like E5, for example, gives you compliance regulations and requirements and the checkboxes and whatnot. So if you need that, and you only really normally need that when you're at that level where it's
correct. If you're a large organization in, like I said, the financial industry, the medical industry, right?
Yeah.
And
Then
and
you
your
probably want to
compliancy
look at that.
requirements require you to have these things in place.
Right.
This is the direction you go.
Yes.
Yes.
And there are probably about 20 other subscriptions that we haven't mentioned that Microsoft 365 offers.
Yes.
Many of them most people won't touch, but these are the ones that most people will be interested in.
Correct. Yes, these are the ones that seem to be the most commonly used by clients.
Yeah.
If you have questions, obviously, as always, we are available for questions, comments, etc. We're happy to. If you want us to research something, we will research something. Get back to you. Leave your comments in the comments field below. We will put together a link that to a comparison website from Microsoft that shows you kind of how these things all break down and what features are available. We'll put that in the show notes, and then feel free to reach out if you have any questions on how you would use these things. If you have questions on why you should pick one versus another, we're happy to answer those questions for you. I think that's it, right?
Yep, I think that's it. I mean,
wow.
We could talk all day.
Yeah, we could.
But I'd rather not put our audience into a
deep coma.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be bad. See. So yes, thanks again for all of your attention, and thanks for watching and listening on both on the YouTube side and on the podcast side. Your presence and your patronage, as it were, is very important to us. Thank you so much for all your time and attention, and we will be back next week with more hopefully relevant information. If not, we'll waste your time with something. We'll figure something out.
We'll just continue this Microsoft 365 subscription thing for the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year, and until you start sending us hate mail.
Isn't that already coming? I would expect.
Actually, that's so that's it. Have yourself wonderful weekend coming up. This is Friday the 16th of April we're recording this on. Take good care of yourselves. Make sure you get your vaccines when they become available. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episodes. That's it.
Right.
From Two Blokes and a Mic. Cheers, guys. Take good care of yourself.